Share duties with your children, share duties with your spouse, roommates, significant other, co-workers, team members, etc. You need to trade your time and skill set for theirs. Hi everyone, it's your boy, it's Coach Aaron, also known as Aaron T. Aaron. It's Aaron T. Aaron, also known as Coach Aaron. And today I want to talk to you about the 80-20 rule or principle. And the 80-20 rule sounds like a mathematical formula in some ways. But hey, hang on, don't fret. This is not a lesson of statistics. The rule came from an Italian economist, Vilfredo Pareto, who stated that 80% of Italians' income was earned by 20% of the Italian population. What this means is that 80% of your outcomes come from 20% of your inputs. I'll say that again. 80% of your outcomes come from 20% of your inputs. So to put this in another way, 20% of your activities equate to 80% of your happiness. So instead of focusing on the income, we would focus on your overall well-being of happiness, the happiness factor itself, or happiness factor. So to prove this theory, I want you to look at the distribution of wealth in whatever state or whatever nation you live in. And lately you will find out that with the shrinking of the middle class, this is even more apparent, that a small portion of the population controls the majority of the economy. So look at business for a while, for a minute. The top earners are a small percentage of companies, and they earn the largest portion of income. And if you look at your own habits at the moment, you most likely spend most of your income on just little few things, like maybe your mortgage, your car payment, food, or rent, and you probably spend most of your time really with a few people each day. So how can you use the 80-20 rule or principle to maximize your output? Let's look at my mentor, John Maxwell. John Maxwell, he talks about the fact that he's only good at a few things, and it just sounds like me. And therefore, he doesn't waste his time, his energy, doing too many things. He's just really good at those few things that he's at. He maximizes himself. So he maximizes himself by focusing on what you are good at, by focusing on what you're really good at, those few things, and not waste time on those things that you are not great at or you're not good at. Is this making sense? You have to learn to maximize your efficient self and be able to improve upon and increase your skill sets on what you're good at and what you love to do. Malcolm Gladwell said, it speaks of how to become an expert, and the common thread in his talk is spending 10,000 hours perfecting one's craft, spending 10,000 hours to perfect one's craft. Yeah? And so how can you become an expert? How can you become an expert? If you spread yourself across the board, you become a jack of all trades. And we know that when you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. So your efficiency rate then decreases, and no longer will the 80-20 principle work in your favor. I want you to take a moment and consider what you love. What are you really good at? And then list out those things. This is an assignment for you today. What do you love? What are you really good at? Could you list out those things that cause you to waste your time and decrease your efficient self? If you're able to hire someone to do those tasks that fall on that list, why don't you get somebody else to do it? Share duties with your children, share duties with your spouse, roommates, significant other, co-workers, team members, etc. You need to trade your time and skill set for theirs. You will find that focusing on 20% tasks, the 80% yield will be worthwhile. I hope this lesson has been good for you and that you will take action and do something about it. As always, there'll be a link to how you can write me or how you can get in touch with me. If you need a coach, why don't you reach out and let me help you walk your journey to maximize your best life. It's Aaron T. Aaron. Speak soon.